Hello there, this is Network Africa. Coming up on the program, a blast in Cairo leaves 3 people injured. One suspect has been arrested. Then, who did it? Former Uganda opposition leader Mbabazi accuses the police of breaking into his lawyer's offices. We have the latest from Uganda. And later, guilty is charged. It seems as though Nemesis is caught up with the nurse in South Africa who was said to have kidnapped a 3-day-old baby as far back as 1997. Thanks for staying tuned to Network Africa on Channels Television with me, Cynthia Are. Now, police in Cairo have arrested one person they suspect of having something to do with an explosion which injured 3 people late last night. The explosion, which also damaged 2 police vehicles, happened in Cairo. Now, according to MENA news agency, the explosive device, which was placed in the street in Faisal neighborhood, was detonated while a police convoy was passing through. Incidents like this are far from new to Egyptian authorities, who have been battling an Islamic insurgency in northern Sinai, which has also spilled over into mainland Egypt, with a series of high-profile assassinations and bombings taking place in Cairo. For more on this, we go live to Cairo, where the Voice of America's Edward Yeranian is standing by. Edward, thank you very much for joining us.
My pleasure, Cynthia.
Now, what is the latest regarding this incident?
Arab media is sticking with the casualty figure of 3 civilians wounded. There is no exact sense of whether any of the police on the police convoy that was attacked were injured or more seriously injured. They were saying it took place, eyewitnesses, near a gas station, and as you said, this is not a very unusual sort of attack. They take place every other day, every 3 days. But they're never really terribly serious unless you go to the Sinai, where some of those attacks are generally more bloody.
What about the responsibility? Has anyone claimed responsibility so far?
Well, that's the proverbial $64,000 question. You know, the ones that do claim responsibility, it's difficult to prove that they're the ones who did it, and they like to use different names which don't necessarily indicate who's behind them. And in this particular case, no one, to the best of my knowledge, and I was checking through the Arab media, not the English language media, since there wasn't a lot on it. None of the Sky News Arabia didn't indicate that anyone had claimed responsibility.
Now, final question, Edward. Analysts are wondering, and some observers are also wondering, when Egypt plans to put its relations with countries like Russia to good use, especially when we remember that remember the phone call that happened between President al-Sisi and his Russian counterpart early this week, and I believe that was as regards the issue of security. So is this not a good time to probably put that to use?
Yes, I think President Sisi and the government are in constant contact with Russia and its other allies. I think part of the problem is there's a bit of a disconnect with the Obama administration in particular. So while relations with other parts of the U.S. government are fairly good, they're not terribly good with the U.S. administration. So I don't think that's really helping very much, and that might be adding to the problem in some cases. But yes, they're in constant contact over all the regional crises, especially Libya, because there's a sense, at least among the Egyptian officials, security officials, that some of this is spilling over from Libya, where there's insecurity, Islamic State, any kind of number of Islamic militant groups operating there.
Well, Edward, thank you so much for giving us the latest. We appreciate your time. Thank you very much. Well, in other news, the United Nations top official in South Sudan paid a visit to displaced people under UN protection in Malakal on Tuesday in the northeastern part of South Sudan. The special representative of the Secretary General, that's Ellen Margaret Lodge, was in Malakal to assess the security of the humanitarian situation there and to meet with parties on the ground. Last month, violence involving the use of small arms, machetes, and other weapons broke out inside the protection of civilian sites, also known as POC, and that resulted in at least 18 fatalities and injury of dozens. Mrs. Lodge was there to pay her respects to the dead and also rub minds to avoid similar incidents from recurring.
Lost their life and many were injured during the clashes in the POC side. So I wanted to come and pay my respect, but also to discuss how we can look forward and avoid similar incidents happening in the future. Let us try and move forward and work on peace in South Sudan and on reconciliation among the various communities.
Ellen Margaret Lodge, the special representative of the Secretary General. Still to come on Network Africa, former Ugandan opposition leader Maman Babazi plays the blame game as regards the break-in to his lawyers' offices.